Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast with your hosts, Scott and Mike. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the latest trailer that's actually a trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Then moving on to the first 13 episodes of Season 2 of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And then we will be doing a character spotlight from me, specifically Marvel. So, Mike, let's talk about that trailer since we both just saw it.
It was a good trailer. I think
I have a couple of questions that I don't understand, and I
okay.
think it's just because of my ignorance.
Okay,
I
that's
was
usually the
very
problem.
I was very surprised that we saw a hut that fights.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
saw that and I was like, that is going to be interesting.
I was not prepared. Like everything else, like not. By the way, it was not a problem in the sense of like no CGI issues, none of that. It was just more the fact of like I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, no, I thought because majority of the time when we see a hut,
He's
is fat and sluggish, and this is a gladiator.
This one looked more like a snake than he did a slug.
Yeah. I'm very curious about if we're gonna get like more information on that, or if they're gonna maybe dive a little bit more into it at some point in lore. I'm not sure if it's in novels. I had from my going into it. I've from what I've seen and what I've read in novels and my own lore digging, I hadn't seen any. But
Well,
that
my
doesn't
whole
really
thing
mean
is like
much.
I
There's
know
so
that they
much
were.
content for this. So
Well, I also know too. Like I know there's different. Like not all the huts are rich. Like I did know that.
yes.
So, but I would not have thought ever that one of them would have been like. I would imagine some of them might have been a shooter or a pilot, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
not like a physical gladiator fighter.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Um,
Like the physical gladiator one was definitely last on my list, and
I don't even.
it
To be
wasn't
honest with
even
you,
on the list.
I was gonna say I don't even think it was on my list. Like there was like 1,000 things I could come up with before that. I also like that we're taking out all of the remaining members of the Empire, or attempting to.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed we knew that this was going to be had some kind of empire involved because of the first teaser trailer we saw a while back with the
Yes,
AT-ATs
getting
and
pushed off the mountain.
the stormtroopers and whatnot. So now this obviously seems like they're going digging more in. Um, I guess there's a conflict of interest in if this is revenge, trying to go after the empire to get back of what they've done, or if it's just you know damage control in terms of like keeping them down so that way they don't rise to power again.
I mean, tomato, tomato. I mean, to be honest with you, job gets done. Job gets done. It doesn't matter what the reason is.
I kind of agree with that, but I guess it could kind of blur the line where it's like if something gets personal versus just doing it to get the job done.
Well, I also think too, like the idea would be exactly what you were saying in the sense of like he'd go beyond the mission at times and
Hmm.
like just remove all threats instead of just sabotage if that was one of them.
Or if it's possible, he'll ignore the mission.
And
Like
to remove a specific threat.
exactly. So
Okay, fair enough.
and like the threat might not be like the greater like. Let's
Imagine Moff Gideon back.
he has a chance to take out. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. He has a chance to take out Darth Vader, but instead of taking out Darth Vader, he goes after Moff Gideon because he has a personal vengeance for that. You know, um,
That would be awesome.
um,
But that's a possibility because we saw his clones.
I mean, we don't know if he's because when we saw him in season 3, they had removed all the clones to our knowledge.
Well, we assume that's all the clones.
To our knowledge.
I know. No, that's what I'm saying. Like we also know the Empire to know that they're everywhere.
But at least right now for me, I feel like if we got this trailer during the Super Bowl, I would have been more excited for it versus how they proceeded with it. Like I'm kind of
I'm kind of surprised they released it. Like what? Wasn't it a week after the Super Bowl or 2 weeks?
when was the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago from us. I think I sent this to you on like Monday or Tuesday, so it was probably a
No,
week.
but you get my point though. It's just one of those things where it's like, if it was ready then, why wasn't it ready a week prior?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing, because Super Bowl ads are only 30 seconds.
And this was a minute and a half.
Yeah, but either way, like if this was a release before the Super Bowl and then they kind of like snipped it down to release it at the Super Bowl,
That would have been. I would agree with you. Yes.
um,
Um,
you know,
but yeah, it
I
is.
just kind of feel like for me, I feel kind of deflated after the way that they released these trailers. So,
That's fair.
um,
I also my other issue that I have with this is because it's a movie and not a series. There seems to be like a lot of and again, it's just the trailer. We don't know a
there's a
lot.
lot. There's a lot for however long this movie is going to be. 2 hour movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is a little bit of concern. If this was the series, I would have less concern, obviously.
yeah, I
But
agree
because
with
it's
that.
the movie, I feel like there's a lot of jumping. And again, maybe a lot of these places are the same place, and it's just looking like it's not. Um, but yeah, it's just a little awkward. We also got to see, and I cannot remember his name, and it bothers the hell out of me. He was from Rebels.
I did literally. Oh God, I literally just said that
Because he's
too.
from Rebels. He was also in Ahsoka, wasn't he?
Huh?
No, he wasn't in Ahsoka. He was in a live action show. Which one was it?
Mandalorian season 3.
Oh, it was Mandalorian. Sorry,
um, Zeb, that's his name.
Zeb. Okay.
Oh man, I literally saw that. I was like, oh, Zeb's in the trailer, and then as soon
Well, you
as
know
you
what's
say
funny?
it,
I literally
blank.
go, it's a three-letter name, and I'm going through all of them. And I'm like, these are all English and American. Like none of these are helping. But no, I mean, it looks good. I just my big concern is right now it seems like it's all over the place. And again, it's just a trailer, so it does that by itself doesn't mean anything. But it just makes me a little concerned of what this movie is going to look like.
Yeah, no, I kind of I do agree with that. Um, we got, I mean, just like digging a little bit more into it. I mean, obviously we knew this beforehand with the very first trailer we got on this movie. Is we saw more of the Razor Crest being back. The
Yeah, which
ship.
I'm kind of surprised about.
We saw there was two alien creatures, the giant sea serpent thing. Uh,
Yes,
that was in the Clone Wars. I don't remember when we saw it, but I know
the show,
it
correct?
had
The
attacked the
show.
clone troopers at one point in the
Okay.
Clone Wars, and I don't remember when it happened. And then there was a bounty hunter. I forget his name. I
Yeah.
believe it begins with an E, but
Oh, it's not who I thought it was.
it was not. It's not who you think it is. No.
You can understand why I thought it was.
Yep. No, I know who. I thought so too, and then I saw his face, and I was like, nope, that's not him.
I couldn't see his face enough, and he didn't. I don't remember him speaking. No, he did. He did. He did speak,
No.
but it was for very quick. Um,
I don't think he spoke in the trailer.
maybe he didn't. But either way, he looked sort
No,
of like
I think
him.
you're one of the Hutts were speaking when we were seeing him.
Oh, so I just assumed it was him speaking. Okay.
Yes,
But either way,
yes.
I thought it was the other guy.
And then
but
we saw Pedro Pascal's face.
multiple times.
And that's yep. And I mean that was one of the things where fans were, after season 3 when he kind of took like a back seat in season 3, like people were like, okay, he's done with the character, he's moving on. So now we're seeing him on the big screen. So I think that's kind of cool. I'm curious if he's, how much more committed he is to the character, or if he's just doing it.
Well, I also have to say too, I think he's got a lot less stuff going on, weirdly enough, right now. What I mean by that is like I think everything that he was in was filming during season 3.
Possibly.
Because remember, he had Fantastic Four, he had Doomsday, he had The Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? So he was like literally pulled in every direction.
Yeah, but I know like there was one between season 2 and season 3, like there were talks of him. They were because there was a lot of it where when if his face isn't shown, all he does is voice recordings. So he doesn't
Yeah, I
come
did
in.
hear
He's
that.
not in costume. So, and that was leading fans to believe like he's moving on from the character. He no longer cares. He doesn't want to do it. And Disney
Yeah, but
was kind of just like
I took it
forcing
as
it on him.
I took it as, to be fair, it was more because he was just so busy.
I
Because
mean, that's
literally
definitely possible.
that year was the year when that was being filmed. That was also the year of The Last of Us. I don't remember if it was one or two. I'm assuming it was one, just because season two he didn't have as much screen time.
That's fair.
Um, and spoilers. And then there was the Fantastic Four, and then there was also, because I think they did Doomsday. They started Doomsday right after Fantastic Four.
Last of Us season 1 was 2023.
Okay. And when was Mandalorian season 3?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Take your time, but hurry up.
23.
I believe like all that stuff was around the same time. Because he was like jam packed. Because I think he also was in something else as well.
I
I
mean,
think it was just a guest star, but still.
I think it was like post 2020. He was like white hot.
Well, I think it was after, like, legitimately after season 2 of The Mandalorian was filmed. He was like red, like white hot was correct. Like everyone wanted him.
Yeah.
And I think this year, I think all he's doing right now is Secret Wars, I believe. Meaning filming. I don't mean like that's the only thing that's coming out of his. Because I think unless he does some cameos for part 3, but I doubt it. Yeah, he is right now one of the busiest actors, or was the busiest actor, at least at one point.
He was in Gladiator 2, which I did not know.
Oh, yes, that's right. He was in Gladiator. Yes, he was. I remember that. I was surprised to see him.
The unbearable weight of massive talent. That was in 2022.
That's right. That was the other one. To be honest with you, I thought that was pre-COVID, but that doesn't matter.
Wonder Woman was 2020. The Wild Robot.
Oh yeah, but that was voiceover. That could have been done years ago.
Freaky Tales, The Strange Way of Life.
A lot.
Pedro Pascal was in. Oh, that's right. You had mentioned it. 2011. They nixed it. That's right. He was in the Bubble, Wonder Woman movie that you had said that he was in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in a lot of stuff between 2020 to now.
And by the way, that technically wasn't a movie; it was a show. The reason why it's considered a movie is because all they filmed was the pilot.
Oh. Okay. Well, I didn't remember if you said it was a movie or a show.
I will tell you that I learned that because of that, because it comes up as a movie, and I look it up, and it's like it was a pilot for the show, and it never got picked up. So it gets turned into what's called a TV movie, and I find that to be very interesting. But anyway, you ready to talk about Earth Mightiest Heroes Part 1 of Season 2?
I'm proud of you. You said that correctly. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
You thought I was because I didn't do season 2 part 1. You thought I was going to screw it up.
Well, I just
that's fair. To be fair, that's why I paused for a second. You didn't hear it, but there was a pause. This story-wise was incredible.
It was good. They definitely tied a lot of things together.
My question for you is: do you like this Secret Invasion?
This one was so much better than the one we got in the MCU.
This was obviously closer to the comics for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
What I did like the most was it showed so much of who's who. Like literally, nobody could trust who anybody was.
Yeah. Yep.
And like even when you thought it, you were like, I can't even be 100% sure.
Absolutely no. There were so many scenes where
they still got us like Mockingbird. Yeah. Mockingbird got me. I was like, no, that she is? Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, we already know it's Captain America. It's not that crazy. And then you see Mockingbird and you go, oh, I wasn't prepared for this.
No, that one threw me for a loop.
They did the perfect amount of like mix-ins of like, we'll tell you some of them, but then you won't know the others. And they did so well with that.
Absolutely. I mean, even still, like, even when we knew who was a Skrull and who wasn't, it's still like when they
came to Earth and they were pretending to be the Avengers after Asgard.
That's literally what I was just about to say.
I was like, that's exactly what I thought you were thinking of, because at that point I paused and was like, do not tell me that we are doing this big mind freak on us. Thankfully not, but I was like, I believed it for a second. I'm not gonna lie.
I literally saw when it started. I was like, okay, I know that Black Panther went back to the Wakanda. I was like, but wait, what if that was actually a Skrull the entire time to get close, so that way he could get in and fool everybody? And then this was actually the Avengers showing up. I'm like, oh my god, don't start with me. I'm like,
And so
no, Captain America. That is not Captain America. Captain America had a beard because he was held captive. And then the very next scene, they show Captain America showing up, and he didn't have a beard. I was like, son of a bitch.
correct. Well, he had. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, but because when he got back, when he arrived on Earth, he had been clean shaven again.
That's
so.
right. That's right. That's right. I forgot. But no, yeah. That I mean, they did such a great job because even when we thought we knew, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Doom being Doom was great. Just showing up in like.
There was a few parts where I was like, "Is Doom a Skrull?"
Honestly, I even thought at one point, is Nick Fury a Skrull?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, because things weren't working out in his favor, and I'm like, maybe he's a Skrull.
He's like planting this so that way, like everyone messes up and they know that they're gonna trust him and whatever. Yeah, no, I agree. No, but when Doom gave Tony the Skrull reader, and then the Queen shows up and was like, "Oh, we know how to break your system," and he hacked it. I'm like, Doom is in on this. I'm like, he was a part of it.
So the reason why, so I will say this, that part I didn't even think about Doom, to be honest, but Doom wanted the scrolls gone because Sue was missing, because he found out Sue was a Skrull.
So that beginning part with Doom, like I didn't catch on everything because there was a screaming child in the background and I couldn't hear everything. So I will be honest. So I definitely missed important parts on that.
So when Doom captured Wasp and Sue Storm,
yeah,
the reason why I don't know, I think the reason why he took Wasp was because she was there. I don't think
she just was in the way. Yeah,
correct. So then he took Sue, and the reason why is because he had some suspicion. He never stated this, by the way. I will say this, but it was after when he released them, like it was nothing. He had already done his scans because he had finally found a test subject and figured out how to detect the scrolls. But the issue was the Skrull was the woman of his love, which is Sue Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that meant he granted, yes, he does not want the Skrulls there because he wants to take over Earth himself. That is true. However, I think the bigger thing was getting his woman back, because he knew that if he got involved, it could get messier, where he felt like it could be done, weirdly enough, watching them take care of it, and then he swoops in to deal with what he needs to deal with after.
Yeah, definitely.
That's typical Doom.
Mm-hmm. Like he said, he's like, this is what when he told Tony Stark, because he's like,
this is what I have you for.
Yeah, I don't get my hands dirty. I have you guys do it.
And I just find that hilarious because I think intelligence-wise, I think they're equal. The reason why Doom's more powerful is because he's got magic on his side, not just tech.
Not just tech. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just so funny how arrogant he is, and just being like, I have people like you to do my dirty work. Now get it done.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That is Doom. So.
No, it's 100% Doom. I loved every character. I also loved Captain America having all the villains and heroes team up to get out of the Skrull prison.
Yep. Yeah, no, I liked that.
I also love that they couldn't break him.
Yes. I mean, that is very, his willpower.
No, it is very much 100% comic book accurate, but
yeah,
it was still awesome.
I like that towards the end, when Nick Fury realized it was Captain America, that was the leak in the scroll in the Avengers, because it's like they were finally seeing like his attitude change, because it's like Captain America would never act like this, and it's like, obviously as the viewers we can pick up on that right away, but it's like everyone else, like when it clicked in Nick Fury's head, it was like it was just too late. I thought I liked that, where, like you said, you can't trust anybody, you don't know what's going on, everyone's on edge. So
how did you like the Super Skrulls?
I liked those a lot better, and I have to say, one of the things that I said I hated about the show Secret Invasion was how they portrayed the Super Scroll. And I had asked you about this, and I don't think I don't remember what you said, but how like when they use their powers, it was only like their arm transforming it into like the power that they're using, instead of like either just being themselves or transforming their whole body. So seeing that in this kind of is like, okay, they didn't totally butcher it. Because when
No,
he
but
was
it
using the
was
thing's
but
super strength, it turned into the thing and whatever.
yeah, so the other thing too was the first Super Scroll we saw is the original Super Scroll. So he's the
Yep.
one who has the Fantastic Four abilities. He is the one who has the title of Super Scroll. All the others were added for the show, which is not a problem. I also like that they made tech to copy people's powers, which I
Yep.
thought was really awesome. So the only one that wasn't tech was the all the Fantastic Four powers were actually the Fantastic Four's powers. Everybody else's was just technology, which
Oh,
makes
okay.
sense.
I didn't pick up on that. I don't think. I don't
Well,
remember.
because so you had Giant Man who was tech technically, so it's not a power.
Yeah, because
Um,
he was well, Giant Man
it
was also mixed
also
with
Crimson Domino, which is a
yes,
tech.
which is tech. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Then Wolverine and Cyclops were together, which is tech,
That's
because
tech. Yep.
it was the visor for the tech, and then it was the tech for the claws.
Hmm.
Spider Man and Iron Fist, which was just super strength, which they just enhanced his strength. Um, and then there was a couple of different Human Torches, which confused the hell out of me, which didn't bother me that much, but it just threw me off.
Yeah,
And then
I
a lot,
remember when they had panned out and saw the heroes
and I'm
surrounded
like,
by the
why are there
They
more
were
than
like,
one fire
yeah,
guy? I'm like, what's going on?
and I liked it
Um,
too because there was like one was fully engulfed in flames, and then there were a couple where it was just their
just the
arms in flames.
arms.
I'm
Um,
like, someone didn't finish the job.
yeah, I was like, something's not working there, but it didn't ruin anything because it was a pan out. It wasn't like it was anything crazy.
I mean,
Um,
it was meant to show the like the situation that they were in. So, and
no, absolutely, and it did its part. Um, yeah, it was just so well done.
now speaking,
Um,
you had mentioned the Iron Fist. We saw Luke Cage and Iron Fist in this. We got a lot of cameos in this.
well,
I
we also got Scott Lang.
yes, we did. We got Spider Man, obviously.
Also, we
Um,
got, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this. We also got a hint of Yellow Jacket.
yep, yep.
So when Hank Pym was getting pissed off and angry, we saw a
Panned
Yellow
out.
Jacket in the background.
Yep. No,
So I think he's gonna be a villain.
I think definitely agree with you. He's coming in the second half of this season.
We also got Ronan and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. Um, I thought it was interesting that at first when they showed up, which it kind of, um,
Made sense.
it made sense, but it's like when they first showed up, they couldn't understand the language and they were speaking an alien language, and I was like, okay, the translator isn't hooked up correctly, and then all of a sudden they all took off their masks and they were speaking perfect English. And I'm like, okay, could have just done this from the beginning. They
Well, I think the idea was I think
didn't
where
know. I know.
well no, but also they didn't know where they were yet. They were
Yep.
following Kovac, and then when they got there, they were using the language of where they were last, and so they realized they weren't there. So then you started to because there were some people on there that you've never met before. Um, I think her name is Magix.
Oh
No,
yeah. Instead of it was Groot,
yep, Rocket.
Rocket,
It was Star Lord. It
Star
was
Lord.
Adam Warlock.
Yep, and then there was a woman, and I
Yes,
think
and she's got
it,
the swords,
yeah,
the energy swords.
and
Um,
that wasn't Gamora. That's all I know.
no, I know she's in Marvel Snap, but I cannot for the life of me remember her name now. But anyway, her her power is literally just light swords, but still powerful in and of itself. Groot being beat up by the Hulk was hilarious, and then just kept growing back, and Hulk was just getting more
Yeah,
pissed.
yeah. He just wouldn't. Every time he destroyed him, he come back.
Oh, we also had Red Hulk and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that one. You're okay. So there are two characters with magic swords: Black Knight and Magic. So
Her
I
name,
think you're right. It is Magic.
no, No. No.
What do you mean no?
Magic. No. Magic is not it.
It's
Is it
uh
her?
I mean, it says that when I look up when I look the character
No.
magic, it says wields the soul sword, a magical blade that often glows or manifests with light energy, like light energy. Um, so I mean, unless there's other characters, obviously, but
No, because the one you just mentioned to me is Peter. Is Cyclops' sister.
uh,
Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's interesting.
Iana Rasputin.
Yeah, no, that's not her. That's the
Oh,
mutant.
oh, okay.
She's the. I'm literally looking at her face. Why can't you tell me her name? I'm gonna have to do it this way. It's gonna piss me off.
That's funny. Well, either way. Yeah, no, when was seeing Groot just constantly get destroyed and coming back, I was like, okay, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, with the turning to the Red Hulk, I was confused because I'm like, who is the Red Hulk? Because I thought it was going to be
No, it is.
it is.
Hmm.
Didn't seem like it with how the scenes were going.
Well, the reason for that was because of they when they talked to him on the thing stating, do you want your identity known? And that's when he leaves, and then the plane comes with Ross in it.
No, I that I know, but so like but the reason why I doubted it at that point because it was like instantaneous. There was like no time that passed, so it was like how I didn't seem like they had time to pick him up and then show up.
Martry, Martyr.
Okay.
Oh, oh, Marvel is
So,
her father.
oh, interesting. Hmm.
I was not prepared for that. Because
So
her
she's Kree.
half Cree. I
Okay.
don't know what her other half is, but yes. So anyway, so we got to see those. We got to see the Winter Soldier, Red Hulk. We also got to see the Serpent Society as a whole, along with Spider Man. Who, by the way, I just have to say, when we got Rattlesnake, I legitimately thought that was supposed to be Scorpion. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It did look like that. Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, we found out it was the Serpent Society after, but you can understand why I thought it was Scorpion at first, and I think that's why they did it.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and also, that was a great episode for the Captain America and Spider Man talk about like, yeah, people hate us all the time. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I so when I was watching this, I almost texted you about like because when episode 12 ended I was like this is a perfect way to end quote unquote the season. Like what did Scott mean to go to episode 13 or we just did I just assume we were going to episode 13 because that's what we did last season? But then I read the description, I was like okay, I'll just watch it,
Well, because it's
we'll
the aftermath of what happens.
either way it could have been the start of the quote
Oh
unquote
no,
next
no,
season.
you're absolutely
But
correct. But I thought it would be a great ending piece, mostly due to the fact that it's Spider Man.
you just wanted to see Spider-Man.
Which is why. So the whole thing was when I was talking about how like Batman was in it, and then you said Spider Man. I was like, that's exactly the thing I wanted him to say because that's who I was talking about was originally Spider Man.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we got like I said, you had already mentioned. We also got Shang-Chi in it too. Shang-Chi was fighting Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
I don't remember that.
Remember they're in the alleyway and there's the big guy and then there's the martial artist
Yeah. Oh, that was
when they were
Shang-Chi.
yeah, that was Shang-Chi.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Because Shang-Chi, you have to understand.
I remember the fight in the alleyway with the big guy and the whatever. I just didn't remember it being Shang-Chi.
Well, they never said his name. I'm assuming it is. But you also have to
Oh.
remember too that Shang-Chi doesn't have the rings.
Hmm.
He's never had the rings in the comics.
Okay. Yeah, that works then. I didn't. Yeah. Either way, I didn't put two and two together. I just
So
saw the big guy and then he
he's a
got beat up.
master of kung fu.
You
Yeah,
seem to have you seem to have doubt on that.
well, no, because I was trying to remember because the argument was Iron Fist and Shang-Chi have gotten into fights before over who's the master of martial arts, and they've had arguments about exactly what each of them are capable of, which is funny. Um, but no, Iron Fist was great. I also like that his fist was red in this.
Mm.
Luke Cage was perfect. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I did like that
Uh,
storyline with uh
Hank
Hank
Pym.
Hank Pym hunting
Well,
down
he also
Scott
gave
Lang and
up
whatever.
being Ant-Man, which makes me really think he's going to be Yellow Jacket
Oh
soon.
yeah, definitely. He's broken at this point.
No, he is
Um,
100%.
I like that he's like, okay, you're Ant-Man now. He's like, I don't want to be Ant-Man. He's like, too bad you're Ant-Man.
Yeah, I just made it so you got Ant-Man, so you got Ant-Man. Um, yeah, just so well done. We also got Miss Marvel added to the team.
Yep, I did like that. Um,
Um,
I
she's
like that she obviously we know that she's powerful, but I like that she doesn't have. I thought it was interesting, and I liked the story arc for it. Is that she didn't have the confidence to do as much as she wants to do because she wants the approval from her peers. It's like a new hero coming in and like wants to do things the right way instead of just uh going gung ho about it.
I,
Um,
al- I liked, and I think this is the scene you're talking about, where all of a sudden they're like talking about how she's like somebody had mentioned like she was like equal to Thor's strength and like equal to oh no
to Hulk.
equal to Thor's power, equal to Hulk's strength.
Yeah, they said that they wanted to see her go up against the Hulk because that would be a good fight.
Yeah, and then they saw her do something and they're like, oh, I see it now.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Um,
yeah, that was good. I also like seeing Sword. I like seeing Sword, Aim, and Shield all at once because we've never seen them all together.
yeah,
In the
there's just
sense of like in any live action stuff. So it was really cool to kind of see them all together. Granted, in sporadic ways, but like in one cohesive story.
have we
Like for the
gotten Sword in the MCU or has it just been Shield? And I
why don't you rewatch WandaVision and then come talk to me?
that was Sword. I thought
Hmm.
that was Shield.
Nope, Shield no longer existed. Shield stopped existing after the helicarrier destruction in Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay. I'll be honest then.
Shield no longer existed after that.
Okay. I thought that they just like regrouped. So okay.
No,
Just
so Nick Fury technically helped create Sword after that point.
okay. You know what it probably is. Time has passed, and I don't remember them. I don't remember them saying this is Sword now or whatever. So I just assumed it was Shield because Nick Fury rebuilt it. Um. So that's kind of most likely what happened.
AIM was introduced, but we've only seen it twice. We saw it
I know
in
we've seen AIM, but I can't remember when we saw them first.
Iron Man 3. They were the ones who created the Mandarin.
Oh, okay.
That's AIM.
Okay, I don't remember it being that
That
far
was the
back then.
first. That was the first rendition of AIM. They didn't have yellow jumpsuits. Shocker.
That's, I mean, yeah.
And I think we saw them again. No, we had. They were hinted at in Ant-Man, I believe. I don't think we physically saw them because it was in Ant-Man. They were talking about how he's going to sell it to AIM, the technology. Yellow Jacket was going to sell it to AIM, and I think that's the
Let's see.
last time we've seen them.
We have the technology.
No, take your time, but hurry up.
Okay, it seems like uh Iron Man
Michael
3,
does this all the time. Yeah.
like you said,
Yep.
and it's the Agents of Shield TV show. It
Oh, interesting.
seems like that is it
Wait, is that
as of
visually been in?
2023.
Was that like in, like, or like talked about?
In Agents of Shield, they were just talked about. They were not seen.
Interesting. All right. I swore they were talked about in Ant-Man, but maybe I was wrong. Either way, it doesn't matter. Um, Interesting. But no, I like seeing them all talk, like dealing with all the stuff and everything else. I thought that was kind of cool. I also liked how they all had to work together to defeat the Skrulls. That was a huge piece for me. Humanity had to be united to defeat the
Absolutely.
Skrulls.
Yeah.
Um,
I liked that Maria was finally able to put her pride past and like actually work with everybody instead of just being stubborn because she realized that
well,
Nick
she pulled
Fury
a
was
Nick
right.
Fury. I'm not going to lie to you. She pulled a Nick Fury. She replaced herself with a robot double, and then was watching from the sidelines to see what was going on. And she's like, "I knew where everyone was for a while. I just need to play my cards right." And now it's like my cards need to be played.
Yeah, no, I thought
Um,
that was good. I like
that
that.
she proved to me right then and there that she was equivalent to like a replacement of Nick Fury at that moment.
Yeah,
Also, Nick
absolutely.
Fury, I don't know if you noticed, looked a lot more like the Nick Fury from the MCU.
Shaved
For
head.
obvious, well, for obvious reasons, it's because he gets a cameo, obviously, in the Iron Man movie. So then we see him, so we see what he looks like, and so they mapped him to look like that.
Tying things together now at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, great. I can't think of anything else. I'm excited to see where the next part of the season goes. I would imagine it has to be Doom, just because he was shown, but realistically, they could go anywhere.
I mean, there were a couple things that they could have continued.
Oh, you know what? They could do Civil War.
They could do Civil War. They were showing that I think that I think Kang will play some kind of role in the next part because we saw him in the prison.
Well, we saw him in
Um,
the prison when they were, and then he was looking to see, well, who came in.
I don't remember who came in. I'll be honest, but I when they brought somebody in
Yes.
and then they were walking away and they panned out and saw him like lurking.
Oh, it was Ronan. It was Ronan. It was
Yes, Ronan.
yes. It was
Yep,
the
yep.
Kree, and then he was like, "This is like," he looked like things about to go down,
Yeah,
and it was
and
just like,
obviously with that, like the Kree, I feel like is going to play a part because I mean Marvel was like you just spelled the end for humanity, you know. Um,
well, that's also a thing. You're right. I mean, there's a lot of things they left a lot of doors open in the best way possible. They've done a great job of tying things together, so like I'm not worried about it too much.
we Asgard, Surtur.
Oh, that's right, Surtur and Beta Ray Bill was another one for me. He is the most beloved. Like he's a beloved character that still has not had a live action yet. Although we did see him in Ragnarok.
Yes, I mean, let
He
me.
was in the statue. He was not actually physically there. He was depicted on the statues, like of his former champions.
Yep, 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 yep. Um,
Um,
yeah,
and then he.
they hinted at a lot of stuff in these 13. It's so
So here's
interesting.
my question though: how do you like Stormbreaker?
That was funny.
Well, no, because that's what Stormbreaker looks like in the comics. So that's why I wanted to ask your thoughts on it, just because that it is an axe technically,
Yeah,
but it looks more like his hammer for obvious reasons.
yeah. No, I did like that. I like that. It was I like in this. I don't know if this is a thing in the comics, but they forged it for uh, what's his name?
Yes, no,
Uh,
they did.
and I
So
did really like that.
the idea was they couldn't create another Mjolnir because Mjolnir was its own thing. So they would create a weapon similar that could only be wielded by him or those worthy of him. So it would be like it's basically the same thing,
Yeah,
obviously,
Molnir.
because
Yeah.
he was able to use Mjolnir without a problem,
Hmm.
which means Thor on paper should be able to use Stormbreaker without a problem.
Yeah. Um,
Um, yeah, it was the yeah. Also, was not prepared for the Enchantress to be. Um, oh, what we just said his name,
Surtur.
Surtur. I wanted to say Sultry, and I was like, that's not right.
That's not right.
No, it wasn't right at all. So I like her being his avatar was really cool.
Yeah.
Also
I like how
in
they
Marvel,
played
by
out
the
the
way,
story.
also in Marvel fashion, when a female becomes the main villain, she gets into light bondage outfits.
Got to keep to the lore, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that that's been a thing forever, and it stays to be a thing. Um, but overall, I was very happy with this. We also got J. Jonah Jameson with J.K. Simmons reprising his role, which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of cool.
Let me see. Voice
But yeah,
actors
that's
in
pretty much.
season 2,
Um,
Avengers, Mightiest Heroes. Because there's a voice actor that like I mentioned this to you yesterday when we were talking about how
yeah,
there was
I'm
a
glad you
voice
looked it up
actor.
beforehand.
Hey, sometimes we forget. Um, Spider-Man was Drake Bell.
I think I knew that actually. Weirdly enough, I
Uh,
think I actually knew that.
I didn't. I did not realize that prior. So that's all I'm seeing right now. But there were a few people, like obviously Odin. We talked about it last
No,
season.
yeah,
Odin
Odin is
was his
yeah.
name. Was it? No, we didn't get Surtur's. No, we did, but it was only through a couple clippets. There was one person that was very prominent that was like, oh, I recognize their voice. But
Yeah.
either way, it's too late at this point.
Yeah,
Because I've
it's I'm not super worried about it, but I'm excited to see where, like I said, the rest of the season goes, and this is the finale. So I also am curious: is it like an actual finale, or was it like cut off? We're gonna find out together. Um,
like I had mentioned last time.
no, you're right. I
Uh,
mean, we'll have to wait and see. But either way, I thought this show was incredible. I can't wait to watch more of the Marvel stuff because there's an X-Men series, there's also a Fantastic Four series that are tied into this kind of sort of, and Spider-Man. Although the Spider-Man one is a completely different art style in the
it's
so I don't know
interesting.
if this one so I don't know if it's
I
actually
like
connected.
I like in this how Spider-Man isn't entirely like I want to look at the positive, where it's like at the end where when he's talking about Captain America about how like oh people only as long as you know you're doing the good it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks, and how at the end when J. Jonah Jameson published the Spider-Man teams up with what's them called to
To attack Captain America.
Captain America. At the end, Spider-Man was like, "I'm just gonna go and punch J. Jonah Jameson's face in,"
No,
and
no, I'm gonna web his mouth shut. And Captain America's like, you go do that.
yeah, he's like, "That sounds like a good idea." Like that, I liked that.
Also very Spider-Man esque. But yeah, I also have a feeling too that they couldn't show any Spider-Man villains either. I think they can only show Spider-Man. I think it's part of that weird contracty thing. It's a weird
I don't. I no. I actually. I don't think that. I don't think that part is correct because Sony has. Well, actually, because this is Disney. Yeah, that's right.
because this is Disney. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a little. This one gets. I think this was the first. This was the first I think show that Disney had that was Avengers, meaning like the full Marvel.
Wait. I thought. I
Oh wait, this might not have been Disney. This might have been pre-Disney because Disney
no
didn't require it until after Avengers, the first movie.
Spider-Man.
No, Disney owning Marvel.
No, that's what Disney.
Disney didn't own Marvel the entire time. Did you not know this?
Actually, I didn't know that. I thought they sold it a while ago. Let me see.
I
When
gotta
did
look this up because I'm dead set that I'm correct on this.
uh Disney bought Marvel in 2009? I actually did not know that. I thought when Iron Man came out, I thought that was Disney.
All right, so my apologies. You're right. It was after the first two movies, then they owned them. I thought it was Avengers when they owned them, so that's on me. But no, I knew they didn't own them right away. Yeah, it was. Fun fact, Mike. I thought you knew that.
No, I did not realize that.
Yeah,
That's
no, they didn't.
wild.
Yeah, that just had that thought in your head. I will admit that I thought it was more than just two movies. I thought it was at least up until either Captain America or Thor, was when they actually
So
bought it.
so Paramount had the rights to Marvel before Disney bought it.
Yes,
I did not know that.
yes, because that was also a big issue with the Hulk, because the Hulk was a huge issue for because of that, because
Yeah.
they still owned the Hulk at one point.
Uh, yeah, I mean they still own the Hulk. They don't Disney doesn't own the Hulk.
I mean, well, you know what I mean.
So the Avengers was the first Disney movie.
No, technically, if they bought him after the first two, it would have been technically Iron Man 2 that was the first Disney movie.
What this
Oh,
says,
you know what? I think all those other movies were planned before Disney bought it.
yeah, they
So
were.
you're right. I think Avengers was the first.
So this
Like
one is
they
the
created
deal.
it and made it and everything.
The deal was finalized December 31st, 2009. Impact. The deal provided Disney full ownership of Marvel Studios, which had only just begun the MCU with Iron Man in 2008.
Yes.
Results. The acquisition allowed Disney to eventually take over distribution for Marvel films from Paramount Pictures, starting with The Avengers.
Okay, so I was correct. It was so that's why
Yeah.
to me I always thought it was the Avengers is when they bought it, but they bought it previous and it was part of their contract to finish the movies that they already had
So
planned.
they
And
already
then
had everything. Yep.
and then and everything that was already planned, and once it was done, then Disney would take over. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. So that's why I remember it being Avengers being the first Disney movie. And I was correct, but not in the way I thought.
Well, at least that's Disney distributed.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, what I mean by that is, like, Disney had full control over.
Yeah.
Was the first one they had full control over. Anything else you want to talk about before I get to my character spotlight?
My mind's just blown, man. I can't get over this right now.
I thought you knew. This was actually
never
knowledge.
knew that.
This is knowledge I knew. I was a little late with, like, I thought it was a little bit later, but like I was correct. I'm proud of me.
Wow. No, that changes a lot. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense with like the more grittiness of the early Marvel versus like kind of things started to change after the first Avengers. But even still, like it still was kind of dark and gritty past that. Like it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't until like more recently that they've kind of
no,
gone.
I agree. No, it was more recent. The whole idea was they wanted to make it like a darker, like depending on the character, they wanted to show like how dark it could be. Because like certain characters, you obviously it doesn't make sense to make it dark. Like Miss Marvel doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like there's certain characters that don't make as much sense to make it as dark and gritty as some of the others. Like obviously, like
Thunderbolts. Funny. Oh yeah, absolutely. But no, I thought it's funny that like looking back at it, I said I always preferred DC because it was more dark and gritty. But at the same time, like Marvel at the beginning was pretty dark and gritty. So it's like now it's completely changed.
For both of them, really. A little
For
bit.
Both, yeah. I mean, times have changed. Wow.
All right, so my character spotlight is of a character that we saw in Earth's Mightiest Heroes Season 2. Okay. Michael Korvac. Michael Korvac, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought was supposed to be Sentry in the show.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. That would make sense.
I was very wrong, and we are both stupid. So Michael Korvac was a computer technician.
Wait, hold on. Why me? I said it would make sense. I didn't say I thought that. Why am I getting dragged under this?
Because we are tied at the hip. So when I fall, you fall. And trust me, you fall a lot because of that.
I'm well aware. Well aware.
So you're welcome. Michael Korvac was a computer technician born on the blue area of the moon on Earth 691 in the year 2977 to Jordan and Myra Korvac. Due to the events surrounding his birth, Korvac's father was killed and he was raised by his mother to have a hateful and vengeful attitude. When the solar system and its colonies became the target of conquest by the alien Brotherhood of Badon, I think that's Badoon, Michael became a collaborator and traitor to the human race since he felt his former superiors had always refused to recognize the scope of his abilities. Although his cowardice and treachery was mocked by the Badoon, Korvac was obtained obtained a modest position within the Badoon Empire by the year of 2997. Being in charge of overseeing the analytic computer system governing Badoon, Korvac would soon infiltrate resistance cells to lead to the capture and execution. After one instance of such betrayal, Korvac broke down in shame, causing him to step away from his computer modules. One of Korvac's superiors caught Korvac away from his station, and as punishment, they amputated his lower body and grafted his torso to a special hovering computerized module. Isn't that nice?
Very, very, very nice.
Also, by the way, what it looks like is they look like they put like this big rectangle like piece of metal and just attached it to his underneath his torso.
Interesting. Okay.
So like not the long way, the wide way. Why I don't know. I'll never understand that. Basically making him a cyborg. Korvac would later claim that he was turned into a cyborg by Badoon as punishment for collapsing of exhaustion due to Badoon being harsh taskmasters. However, obviously that wasn't the case. Awakening to discover the cruelty enacted upon him, Korvac used his newfound cybernetic abilities to kill those who had performed the operation. Realizing the vast potential of his new form, Korvac set out to plot the takeover of the entire Badoon Empire. Before he could carry out his plans, Korvac was briefly transported through time by the game-playing Grandmaster of Earth 616, who used him as a pawn in battling the hero Doctor Strange and the Defenders. Korvac deliberately lost the fight so as to discreetly scan and analyze the Grandmaster's cosmic powers. With his cybernetic console's ability to tap and synthesize virtually any type of energy, Korvac siphoned a portion of the Grandmaster's power. Being returned to his own era, Korvac used his expanded abilities to teleport himself to a desolate planet and build a stronghold. Having gained the abilities to teleport through time, like the Grand Master, Korvac recruited a group of aliens called the Minions of Menace and attempted to cause Earth's sun to go nova. He was defeated by the Guardians of the Galaxy and the time-traveling god of thunder, Thor, but Korvac teleported away. Fleeing across time and space, he arrived on Earth 616. His journey brought him to the space station of the cosmic entity Galactus. Attempting to download the knowledge of Galactus from the station into his own system, Korvac was imbued with the power cosmic and became a godlike being, which allowed him to restore his body. Korvac's ascension caused him to seek further purpose. Foregoing his previous power-hungry, vengeful way, he set out to take control of the fabric of reality in order to correct the chaos and injustice brought into the universe by civilizations. In the end, Korvac concealed his presence from other near omnipotent beings and traveled to Earth, posing as a normal human and living a normal life, waiting for the day he would enact his plan. While the Guardians of the Galaxy followed Korvac to the past and joined forces with the Avengers in a bid to stop him, the Guardian Starhawk was later able to find Korvac but chose to battle him in secret. Korvac then disintegrated and recreated Starhawk, because he can, removing the hero's ability to perceive his presence in any way so as to avoid future detection. Foreseeing the coming of two beings that would be capable of challenging the elders of the universe, Korvac and Thanos, the Collector remade his own daughter, Carnia, into a being of indestructible power to use as a weapon against them. However, Carnia and Korvac ended up falling in love. After discovering the Collector's plan, Korvac disintegrated him to nothingness. Iron Man eventually tracked down Korvac into a residential neighborhood in Forest Hills Garden in Queens, New York. The entire Avengers roster and the heroine, Miss Marvel, I believe, was Carol Danvers at this point, and the Guardians of the Galaxy confronted Korvac and Carnia, who posed as a middle-class couple. Korvac's cloaking from Starhawk backfired when Guardian's inability to perceive Korvac caused him to become agitated with the Avengers were seemingly talking to nobody. This tipped off the heroes that there was more to Michael than he let on, which prompted him to reveal himself, realizing that he had been discovered, and the cosmic entities such as Odin and the Watcher were now aware of his existence, and Korvac was forced into battle. He slew waves after wave of heroes and was finally caught off guard and weakened by Captain America and then Wonder Man. Although able to kill the heroes, Korvac was weakened further by the combined efforts of Starhawk, Iron Man, the Vision, and Thor. Sensing Karina, I'm an idiot, now doubted him, which is why she was in the show too. Korvac committed suicide through the act of will, and angered Karina then attacked the surviving heroes and was finally slain by Thor. The entire battle was watched by part-time Avenger Moondragon, who realized that Korvac only wanted to help mankind, and his dying act being to restore the Avengers and the Guardians to life. It was later revealed that Korvac had discarded his power when near death after sensing that Galactus had activated the ultimate nullifier in retaliation for his previous intrusion. Korvac's power was passed on to members of his bloodline from 3 different timelines, but it left each of them after the time-traveling Avengers arrived to oppose them. The power eventually inhabited his father, Jordan, who used it to battle the Guardians in defense of his son, who was about to be born. However, mere minutes after his birth, the infant Michael sucked all of the power into himself, killing his father in the process. Because life. The Guardians were helpless against this reborn enemy until the Ancient One and his student Kurgra intervened, captured Korvac, and transported them back in time to the warship of Galactus, who reclaimed the power and had been stolen from him. The Guardians then returned the now powerless baby to his mother. Refusing to let the heroes explain what happened, she blamed them for her husband's death and promised her baby that she would never let him forget that the Guardians of the Galaxy had murdered his father. Cycle repeats itself.
Always.
That one messed me up because I'm reading it going, isn't this just going to lead to the thing happening again? And it does. Later, Korvac was briefly resurrected in human form by the Grandmaster to battle Silver Surfer. Impersonating Kang the Conqueror and the Watcher, a returned Korvac attempted to resurrect the Red Skull and obtain the power of the Cosmic Cube for himself. But he was ultimately defeated by Captain America and the Red Skull himself. People teaming up. When Karina was given a physical body by Vale, Korvac confronted the Avengers Academy staff to claim her once more. Hank Pym offered to return Karina to Korvac, but she refused to go with him, choosing a non-existence over him, even though she was apparently immortal like her father. A battle commenced pitting Korvac against all current Avenger members. He was weakened by them and then attacked by adult versions of the Academy students. After a brutal battle, Vale phased into Korvac's body, which temporarily paralyzed him, and Hazmat completely obliterated Korvac with a projection blast of antimatter. Hazmat, her ability is, antimatter, but she's also been known to create quite literally radiation, which is why she's called Hazmat.
Makes sense with her name.
Correct. Obviously, with antimatter, she's obviously increased her powers, but you get the point. Seeking to establish a multiversal order, once again, Korvac revised his plan and rewound his life to regain his cybernetic form. As he could begin again without replicating his previous mistakes in it, he then relocated to the suburban house in Forest Hills, where he had taken his own life and started to dismantle time, intending to recreate the multiverse under his governance. To accomplish this, however, he needed to use Brina Drake, a young girl from his home reality who was unique to the entire multiverse, as a stable reference point around which he would remake everything. Therefore, he caused a temporal instability that trapped the Guardians of the Galaxy in a time loop and manipulated them into delivering the girl to him in the past. When the Guardians finally arrived, Korvac and Grina told Grina his plan and how she factored into it. Yondu took advantage of his distraction and shot an arrow in his head, but the disturbances in time didn't end well with his fatal blow. A dying Kovac regained consciousness and revealed these new time quakes to be the result of an incursion occurring in that reality. The last incursion, specifically. With time running out, Grina and Kovac gave Kovac permission to use her to save the universe before it was too late, but he failed and everything died. Sad. Sometime following the resurrection of the multiverse, the scientist Kobal, known as the Enclave, got a hold of Korvac, rechristening him as Adam 4. Adam Warlock. Um, the Enclave's leader, Carlo Zota, refurbishes Korvac's body and turning him into an android, granting him new legs. I like how they say that. Zota intended to use Korvac's nearly unlimited intellect to help with their cause to create a better Earth. However, Korvac quickly struck out on his own under the belief that the Enclave were being arrogant for focusing solely on their own planet. Korvac's ultimate goal became of merging the entirety of life into a single hive mind called the uh, aggregate, achieving a universal harmony through the foregoing of the individual self. He wanted just everyone to do what he said. Korvac used his fake identity scientist Fuller Teilhard to secure Tony Stark's funding for a lightning harvesting project that he secretly used to harness power for himself. He enlisted some of Stark's enemies, namely Unicorn, Blizzard, and the Controller, for the eventuality, sorry, of killing Stark to prevent his interference. Korvac lured Iron Man and his partner Hellcat into his lightning farms. After a fight against Korvac's disciples, the heroes were electrocuted by Korvac and left for dead. They survived, so Korvac kidnapped Stark's friend Jim Rhodes as a threat to prevent interference. Excuse me. Once he located Tawa 2, which is Galactus' ship, Korvac underwent a procedure to absorb the entirety of New York's electricity grid to further empower himself. After almost managing to kill both Iron Man and the ragtag team of heroes he had assembled to fight him, Korvac and his acolytes left on the spaceship to Toa 2, but they were followed by the armed Avenger and his allies. Korvac took a detour to a distant moon of Rivalus, where he attempted to resurrect the self-exiled original Human Torch. I don't know if you know this, the original Human Torch was actually a robot.
I did not know that.
Yeah. We also saw him, fun fact, in Captain America. We saw him in Howard Stark's plethora of machines. We got to see the original Human Torch. Yeah, he was fun fact. He was originally an android. No connection to Fantastic Four, by the way. Korvac liked him to. Sorry, he basically made him to be like a brother to him. Korvac sought validation in him, but Hammond instead condemned his plan, forcing Korvac to use the controller to subjugate him. Two factions reached Toa 2 almost concurrently, although Iron Man defeated Korvac inside Toa 2's transmutation chamber. The mangled android barely managed to tap into the power cosmic at the last second. Tony used his suit to level the playing field, and both rivals attended godhood. A fight ensued, and Iron Man managed to overpower Korvac. The absent entities arrived and took Korvac prisoner. Fueled by his newfound hatred for Iron Man, Korvac reached the epiphany that he could achieve universal harmony by means of universal annihilation. He broke down from his captors and returned to Earth. However, Stark had replenished the power cosmic after becoming corrupted by it. And in his human form, he began suffering from morphine withdrawal, a drug that he had started taking to alleviate the pain from his near-fatal injuries previously inflicted by Korvac. In a state of stupor, Stark goaded Korvac into forfeiting the power cosmic, accusing Korvac of continuously search of power being an instrument to escape from himself. Korvac began to beat Tony brutally until further symptoms of withdrawal settled in. Korvac had a change of heart and took Tony to a hospital. Afterwards, he climbed to the top of a building nearby and jumped off and apparently killing himself. This final little bit. In reality, instead of committing suicide, Korvac decided to create a perfect timeline. To accomplish this goal, he created his own battle world using examples of different timelines and pitted them against each other to judge which ones would continue existing and which ones would be destroyed.
Fun.
So, his powers. He has cybernetic enhancements. He is half human, half sophisticated computer. He has the ability of flight. He has adaptation. He can basically adapt on the fly, physically, and with his plans, which is interesting. Computer links. He can basically link to any computer. He has energy absorption, mind control, teleportation, time travel. He also has the ability to download the power cosmic, which makes him have any feat comparable to those of Odin, Zeus, Galactus, the Collector, and the Grandmaster. So basically, anything they could do, he could do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Also, I keep forgetting that Zeus and Odin are considered power cosmic beings because they're power cosmic to me. No, don't get me wrong. I believe they're cosmic level beings, but not power cosmic beings.
Yeah.
Semantics, but you get it. Superhuman strength, superhuman stamina, invulnerability, superhuman speed, flight, self-sufficient, time traveling. He has the ability to manipulate time. He also has the ability to sense when time and space has been manipulated. He can also observe any location remotely at any time he so chooses and at any time period. He can see all at all times. He has energy absorption, energy projection, teleportation. He's a telepath. He has astral projection, which is weird to me that he would need that because of everything else he can do. He has telepathic cloaking. He has illusion casting, telekinesis, shapeshifting, size alteration, molecular manipulation, magnetism, force fields, static fields.
He does a lot.
Power. Oh, he can bestow his power to other beings as well. Those are just his powers. His abilities are gifted intelligence, skilled combatant. Sorry, it was spaced weird. He's a formidable hand-to-hand combatant, but more reliant on his powers rather than his training, which makes sense because he's literally a god. His weaknesses are cosmic artifacts. Even at his strongest, he is still vulnerable to cosmic devices such as the Ultimate Nullifier and the Cosmic Cube. Weirdly enough, all creatures including himself, are vulnerable to antimatter. Which is such a weird thing to think about because, like, even Galactus could get destroyed by antimatter. And that's just which makes sense, but it's also just so weird to think about. Now, as always, the power grid is out of 7. What do you think his power grid looks like?
I want to say like mostly 7s, but it's going to be like there's going to be like some random stuff that's like a 1 for no reason.
So there's intelligence, strength, speed, durability, energy projection, and fighting skills. 5 of which are 7.
I'm going to say the fighting skills is one of the ones that's not a 7.
You're correct. I still thought it would have been higher than this, to be honest with you. It's a 2.
I was going to say 3.
Well, I would have thought a 3 because he's considered to be a great combatant, but because
he doesn't have master of all of them, it's not more.
That's the key difference when it comes to the power grid, but it throws me off because when you say he's an expert combatant, I'm thinking he's a minimum of a 3, but this makes sense. But yeah, he's a 7 in intelligence, 7 in strength, 7 in speed, 7 in durability, 7 in energy projection. Shocking, right? Which is funny to me because that makes him stronger than some of the other power cosmic beings, because a lot of them, their fighting skills are a 1. So characters, like weirdly enough, Thor and Odin, their fighting skills are obviously higher, because they are more fighting beings. Mm-hmm. Galactus is a lower side. He's not really known for fighting. He doesn't really fight. He focuses on his powers.
Yeah.
The Watcher's another one. The Watcher is another one where he has all these powers and everything else, but his fighting skill is actually, I think, a 1.
Makes sense.
But he's still a being that can destroy most of the universe, obviously. But I thought it was interesting to talk about because the reason why I looked him up was because I originally looked him up because I thought, oh, is this like a different version of like Sentry? Because of his like his dual personality thing going on. However, obviously I was wrong, and it was actually a real character, a different character. I shouldn't say real character, a different character than what I thought, and he is Korvac. Thought it was interesting. Curious to see where we're going to see him because there is a potential when we get to being.
It doesn't seem like his story was over.
Yes, but I'm also going to say in the MCU too. I'm also wondering when we're going to get to the cosmic beings. Obviously, we got Galactus, but we're going to see how well that goes. But for now, if you made it this far into the next week, we're going to be talking about the second half of season 2 of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We are then going to be talking about any trailers that come out and a character spotlight from Mike. And then after that, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to be doing for 2 weeks before all the new stuff comes out. Because after that, we are going to be busy at least until May.
Yeah,
possibly June.
Through June, because then we have, I think it's the last week of May that it's Spider Noir. So,
yeah, but you get my point. So I'm saying it that way just to cover myself. But yeah, so we will be. We have 2 weeks of more freedom where we'll have to figure something out to watch for 2 weeks. But I think or read or whatever. But Mike and I will definitely come up with something. I kind of want to do another Marvel thing because we've done so many DC and Star Wars stuff.
Yep.
And then after all this, we can then move on to either Star Wars or DC after. But for now, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye.